It's Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. and it's time for a LinkedIn Live with me. So welcome everybody who is joining from the car, from the office, from the home office, wherever you are, guys. Welcome to LinkedIn Live with Lily. So we will wait a little bit until the chat is filling up. And so I will first of all tell you who I am and why today is an amazing day to be a part of this LinkedIn Live. So my name is Lily. I'm the CEO of Malish Consulting, and I help you as a decision maker to develop your B2B business in the food and beverage industry. With the help of LinkedIn, I help you to thrive. Business development and leadership strategies are the game changer and require, of course, a concrete approach. Many B2B businesses, from my experience, shy away to bring a consultant on board. I know you have many doubts, but that's why I am providing fair, implementable, and customized solutions for your challenge. In my 10 plus years in the corporate world within the food and beverage industry, I discovered that I love to talk about topics which drive you as a decision maker and as a business owner in this industry. So that's why I'm very, very pleased to have today the opportunity to have a top manager from the industry in today's talk. So stay curious who it is and what our topic is, but let me check in the chat who is already there. You can also write where you're from which industry. And if you have any questions, we are happy to answer them also in this live talk. So feel free to add them or write them in the comment field. So where are you from or where are you located? Home office, I assume most of us are in the home office setup. So send us a comment. Yeah, today we will talk about the importance to be real, about marketing and about leadership beyond the buzzwords we all know and hear and read. There are many books, there are many many shows about it, a lot of information is out there. And we have Roland Will from Zurich. Hi, Roland. Sven from Essen. Awesome. So we have an international crowd. Michael from Frankfurt. So around the corner here at my place. So, but let me introduce to you my guest of the day. And I tell you, take out your notepads. Be ready to take a lot of wisdom and a lot of information. So I'm really excited. My notepad is already ready because I'm really excited. And marketing and leadership are the two topics really driving me through all of my career. And it's really amazing to have this talk today. And who is my guest? Ta-da-da-da! It's Miguel Serano. So Miguel has over 25 years of commercial experience building leading brands and businesses. So across different fields like retail, food, dairy, confectionery, in all these categories in Europe, the US, and the Asia and Pacific area. So he was part of the international senior leadership at Nestlé, and he has also sustainably transformed B2B and B2C organizations from within. So he really knows how I love the German expression, wie der Hase läuft. So in English, it sounds like how the rabbit runs. I don't know. Maybe Miguel knows what the right expression is for it. I will ask him in a minute. And in the last 12 years, he has been focusing on building sustainable and purpose-oriented businesses, and has successfully led Nestlé Garden Gourmet to become the #1 plant-based brand in continental Europe. So this is really impressive and amazing, and this will also be part of our talk as well. And Miguel's professional expertise in building these brands and markets with Nestlé will help us to understand today how we, as business owners and also as companies within the industry, can make a difference. And so after a successful corporate career, so climbing the career ladder, he decided to say goodbye to the corporate world and is now an entrepreneur, and has founded his company Vidaliato GmbH. So we will also talk about it. And he helps to work leaders and business owners to achieve their full potential and succeed in this really challenging times. So that's really exciting, but let me bring Miguel into the talk. Miguel, good evening.
Good evening, Lily. Thank you very much for this lengthy and amazing buzzword-loaded introduction. It's amazing.
so I hope I have prepared the stage. So
very good, very good. No, thank you. I'm really delighted to speak with you tonight, and also I really hope that we get a lot of questions, and this is an interactive. It should not be a one-way, because I mean, one of my credos is if you don't ask, you always stay dumb, and we always are meant to evolve in this sense. So please ask and interact and entertain this discussion. You were saying very interesting words before, like wie der Hase läuft,
the
so rabbit.
What is it in English? How the rabbit runs? I think it's not right.
I think we have certainly a few people from the English-speaking region that can help us here. No, but you also mentioned about consultants, that the people are a bit reluctant. Why? Because also consultancy is a buzzword. I say everyone that just gets out of the corporate is consultant, So I had a
like the two of us, right?
Like the two of us. I had a really hard time to name what I was, because I wanted to be a person that hands-on help, like what you were mentioning, that really helps from within, helps in this transformation. And you will hear from my few thoughts that I have is that transformation can only take place from within. And this is one of the key learnings that I have taken in my past. So yeah, amazing. Buzzwords.
Awesome. Buzzwords, yeah. And this is exactly our topic today, because we want to talk about leadership and marketing, but beyond those buzzwords. Yeah? Because if someone hears leadership, marketing, everybody has different buzzwords in their minds. And we are here today, or you are here today, to look beyond those buzzwords and give us some insights which will help us to understand the current market situation food and beverage is facing. Consumers are changing, everything is changing, and also understand how we as leaders, what is our role as leaders in this new paradigm, in this new world, beyond those buzzwords. But
well, in reality, just to quickly to buzzwords, I mean, it's a simplification that we're using. It's taglines, it sounds sexy, it's short and crisp, and it attracts, of course, the attention. That's what marketers want. The problem with those is that they are a little bit empty, and we are not used to go beyond. I mean, we're speaking about delighting the consumers, adding value, business excellence is wonderful. And I have so many times experience sitting around a meeting table with all these prolific people. And then there was this, delighting the consumers. Yes, we want to delight the consumers. But actually the people went out and we went back to our desk and did exactly the same that we used to do before. Why? Because we did not understand going deeper. And we are in an environment today, particularly in consumer goods. I understand very well the area of food. And you go to a supermarket today, you have 7,000 jams, and one is blue, one is red, one is green. And then you know what? I don't know. And everyone is screaming at me, saying, buy me, I'm the most tastiest, I'm fantastic, I'm made with this. And all this nonsense. And consumers or people, we are educated, we are exposed to so many realities, and we feel that it's just not right, it's just not real. And that is what makes us not trust in what's going on. And we are in a very specific time, and today no one can deny that we are in a new reality, all of us. But the new reality is forcing us really to go inside ourselves, because we cannot go anymore out. So it's about going out, and it's about really understanding what we're doing and going to the depth, And that is what I have always done with my teams. I've always motivated them to speak up. I said even to interns that started in my teams, I want to hear your voice. And there was this lady, I had a digital manager, for instance, a very bright young lady. It was her first job after the university. And I hired her because she was so open, she was so bubbly, she just said what she thought. And I thought that is such an enrichment in the diversity of the team. And then after 2 weeks, I noticed she was completely silent, because all these prolific teams around the table. And I had talked to her and said, what's happening? I see you changed. And she said, oh, well, I don't know so many things. And I said, no. This is why I hired you. I hired you to be loud. I hired you to bring a different opinion. Even if it is politically not correct, please speak up. Please tell me, because it gives me a different perspective. After that, we decide together if we want to embark or not. So those are the little things that, and that's why I believe a leader has a lot of responsibility, because it's up to the leader what kind of culture he instills, what kind of environment he or she creates. And that is super important, because according to this environment, you will get more real, or you would just get people that just do the jobs and don't go further, or don't tell you what they really think, because you don't give them the permission. You don't give you the permission to speak up and to be themselves and to bring in their thoughts, because they may think, oh, how many times has any one of you who was in a meeting wanted to say something and then thought, maybe it's not relevant, because maybe there were, these big gorillas around the table. I call them meeting rooms. There's really this alpha males, mostly males. They are.
They are still, yeah.
And they interrupt you. They don't let you speak. They are super loud, and then you get almost intimidated. And then you say, okay, I don't say that.
It doesn't matter what I have on my mind.
It doesn't matter, but it does.
Yeah.
But it does. It does really matter.
Would you say it's more a problem? Do males also have this problem? So, or is
absolutely.
Absolutely, it's not just a female thing.
No, I had the chance to work with a lot of very, very bright women and to mentor them during my career. And yes, women are just more reasonable, If they're out too loud, they step back. It's a very human behavior. And yes, I see that often, that I needed to empower them and to say, make yourself heard. And if necessary, shut the big guy down and say, now I'm talking, please. I was listening to you, now you listen to me. And dare to say that, because you have the right to speak up. But the guys are the same thing, And in particular, we're talking about corporate cultures. And in corporate cultures, people want to conform to a certain role, a certain behavior, They don't want to be the too critical, because the unspoken words, and this is the buzz that I'm talking about, the unspoken rules is either you are with us, even in the nonsensical part of the strategy, or you are against us. So if you're too critical, it's like, what's wrong with you, Miguel? Are you not aligned with what? Are you sure that you are at the right place?
You don't like our company. Maybe you should leave us. You are not matching the values, right?
The thing is, they would never say like that, because that is, they would say, is there anything that you want to put on the table? So they say it without saying it, you know, and that is what is happening. We are in this little game that everyone is dancing around the bush, and no one is really speaking it up. You know, and they were saying, I think this is not right. I think this is crap. Let's have a discussion. And oh, don't be so negative. You see, and then, but why is that happening? And that is getting to the core of the buzzwords, because we have a responsibility as leaders. You're setting the tone. And basically, you're setting a tone and a framework, which is, we are safe here. I said to my people, for instance, I said, guys, you know, ideas we always need to discuss. And there is no safety for ideas, because ideas, we need to get the best. People are safe. People are on the table. If you ask a stupid question, it's not stupid, because it means you want to evolve and learn. So you can discuss ideas, you can never discuss people. That is the principle. And that gives a space. And also, it's about the little things, you see, it's the little subtle things. For instance, in a meeting, when you see a presentation, then basically, well, I cannot speak first. Because if I say it's good, everyone says it's good. It's fantastic, you know, even those things, total crap. No, but you see, so that's why you need to listen to the intern first. So what do you think? And give them the space and give them, yeah, this is a good thought. This is a good thought. Maybe go further. Maybe go further and look at this perspective. And so at the end, you say what you think and you summarize. And sometimes you can listen to the people and then see where the good ideas come, because often the good ideas don't come from you.
Definitely not. Yeah, but I think also big corporations, they have challenges with this. First of all, to ask their people and really listen to them. And we have a comment from the audience. So Michael says, great leadership skill. Miguel incorporates, I mainly made the experience that people to voice their opinion are seen as naysayers, complainers, or distributors. Yeah. So this is also like how big corporations are handling this, and you were just confirming it. And we have the answer. What wieder Hase läuft in English is to know the lie of the land. So we learn.
Danke, Sven.
Thank you, Sven.
Thank you.
So it's always good to know, yeah. And we have jumped immediately into leadership, and also you gave already some advices. So listen to your people, create a safe space, and make sure that the people are on board with you. But Miguel, tell us something about your journey. I mean, you have over 25 years of corporate experience, so you were hunting the corporate ladder and hunting the titles, and you have been responsible for amazing projects, so Nestlé Gourmet, Garden Gourmet. But what were your learnings? So I mean, now after 25 years, you have decided to say goodbye to the corporate. How can you do that? What happened?
I can tell you, I was scared to the bone to say goodbye to that, because the fears is a big block in life generally, for all of us, and for me the same thing. But let me start at the beginning, because you need to understand where you come from. And I think that is one of my message tonight. I think it's very important that we all go back to ourselves, to our basics. Myself, I was born in a humble Spanish family in Switzerland, and basically illiterate people with high values, but very low school knowledge. And basically, I can tell you a story about the values, because I was one of the first Spanish speakers that could really go to university, which made me very proud, but also a little bit arrogant. You know, I was 18 and I thought I was the king of the world, which is natural, I get that. But then, you know, with the friends of my father, you know, I found myself speaking with words that were impossible for them to know. And he pulled me aside and he said, my son, what makes you such a big idiot? You don't speak to people that they understand you. You speak completely rubbish and you make yourself feel superior. But the real value of a man or of a woman is when he or she can talk on the same level, to the lowest and to the highest. It doesn't matter. And of course, I thought, my father, but he was right. So you see, those are the values that drives you. And also by not having much, this desire to prove to yourself, to go beyond, and to also prove to your mother that you're great, you know, because your mother thinks, you're never gonna do something something real in life. And so I started with that, and you see, this is important because later, while I was in university, I was very young a father. I have three beautiful daughters, and two were very small at that time. So I went out to get some money, and I went to sell eggs, basically door to door selling eggs, you know, and that was a really interesting experience as well, because selling eggs, you know, I was total nice with the people. I was saying, open, these are fresh eggs from the region, fantastic. Do you want to buy? I don't know, 50 cents is, we need to think about it.
Have to sell a lot of eggs.
Yes. So I gave them my business card and said, no problem. You know what? Think about it. After 2-3 weeks, I realized not a single one has come back and wanted my eggs. So I started to change my strategy, you know. I started to be charming, but I said, no. It's now or never. Now or never. It's the chance of your life. And you can stop it immediately. And I can tell you, I became the best salesperson. And those little things, you know, I think they sharpen your attitude. And for me, human connection has always been super important from my growing up. My first boss, he was completely impressed about my story with the eggs. And that's why he hired me as a commercial analyst, where I spent 9 years in travel retail. At the end, working in an international function as a product manager worldwide for Walt Disney, the Walt Disney company. And I found myself again in this kind of bizarre business situation where you were youngsters. My English was still not good enough, because my English was very, if we Germans say no, we mean no. We don't say we will consider. We will consider. We will not consider, because we know it's no. So, but these Americans, I had meetings, and you may not believe, in Los Angeles, 16 people. And honestly, they all came from a Wild West movie, because they were talking, they were getting up, they were making their points in this real eloquent English that was absolutely mind-blowing. And I was super impressed, because my little English was like, ooh, I would never be like that. But then, you know, you notice that they wanted to sell, but they didn't do. We needed to close the business because they didn't deliver. We did not deliver together on the 500 million that we wanted to do. We did only 100 million in 2.5 years. And so those were, like, you see, this kind of moments where before you're so impressed about certain things, but if you go a little bit deeper, you notice, with the experience, you notice, this is so just shallow. And, you know, it's not about people, but it's about noticing that we need to go a step beyond that, a step deeper. Yeah? So during my career, I had the opportunity afterwards to be also in international small and medium companies. And I went to Asia 3.5 years, where I managed the Asian Pacific business of 14 countries in Asia from Singapore, living there. And I remember one day I was in front of Chinese wholesalers, you know, these really big boys, you know, they're dirty. You think you need to give them $5 because they are so poor. They are super rich, but they are super down to earth. And, you know, I was starting to present, I was starting to interact with them. Well, there was no reaction. Okay. And then I was making a joke in my presentation. They did not laugh. Then I was asking a question. They did not answer. Then I was provoking. And I got totally insecure. I got totally insecure because I was like talking to a wall. And, but, you know, I learned a lot there. I learned a lot about communication, because it is really amazing how insecure I was. And I understood to interpret people in a different way. So to go from the head to the feeling, you needed to almost communicate with the feeling. Does she or he say no, but means yes? Most of the opposite. She says yes because she feels obliged and means no, or the other way. So you start to sense in a complete different manner how this could be, and that helps you. And that is what I want to share today with you guys, because it's, for me, it has been always about going deeper. going to the core and being real. And at the end of the day, you know, my experience around the world is that we are so much more the same all over the place, and we sometimes define ourselves by really the small details that make us different. So that was a really interesting approach. So yeah.
It's amazing, yeah. But would you also say, like, to be real and also finding a sense in the people, has the cultural background also a huge influence, or would you say, like, it has nothing to do with that? We're all human, we all have the same thoughts, the same needs, and maybe we are framed in a different culture, country, or behavior, but deep inside of us, we are all the same, and we also have all the same kind of emotions and wishes and targets.
We are so all deeply human. We have so same feelings. We live in different environments, but ultimately we are facing the same fears. We are facing our light side, our dark side. Most of us want to push away all this darkness, all this angriness, but I say let's embrace that, because that's us, and that is part of being real. I think in my personal situation, the fact of being born in between two cultures was certainly a help, because, you know, imagine I was always at home and I didn't speak a word of German, and I was thinking, how is life with the Swiss people? How do they eat together? Because when we eat, we were shouting and screaming and up and down. It was a disaster. And my friends coming home and saying, Miguel, is your mother angry? I said, you don't want to see her angry. You see, but that you see, I think we could cultivate more a sense of observation, of deeper observation. And I think that is what we are missing out today, because we don't give ourselves the time to observe. I mean, look at what is going on. I mean, the buzzword, and another buzzword for my former company was acceleration. We need to literally accelerate everything. Huh? So basically, how do you want in an accelerated world where you are accelerating beyond acceleration, how do you want to really take time to breathe? You cannot, you know. And then they retrench 100 people. They close 2 factories. What happens? The job is not getting less, you know. You still continue with the same targets and with the same ambitions and with the same KPIs, and you just take over the job of your colleagues on top. And in very bad environments, which luckily I did not experience that, because I must say at Nestlé that was really different. It's like, if you don't do it, we have 15 others lining up at the door at half your price, by the way. So you see, so those are the little things that we can start to observe. We can start to go deep inside ourselves, and we can start to feel, who are we? What is really what we want to get out, and how do we want to treat others? And it's a very simple sense that's not rocket science to say that basically if I was my subordinate, I would love if my boss would treat me like this, and maybe I should do that. Huh? So why what blocks us? What blocks us from going deeper? Why
so this
don't
is
we
maybe
do
a
that?
good question to the audience. So
Yeah.
drop us a comment. What is blocking you from being a good leader, or observing your environment, observing your team, observing your company as well? So drop us a comment. So what is blocking you there? So Miguel, go ahead.
Let me continue with my journey until I achieved, and then I stepped into Nestlé. Then my last 12 years I was in Nestlé, and that was an interesting, because many people think that career is something linear, and career is not linear, because career is failure and then start again, like the phoenix coming out from the ashes sometimes, and sometimes is side and sometimes is back. So I was general manager of Asia, big prestigious title for a small and medium company, true. And then the big Nestle came and they said, we are looking for a marketing manager. And that was about 2 steps back. And I was thinking, wow, I really want to learn from the best, because I think I had always the ambition to somehow learn and grow and observe what people do, so that I could emulate it and build on that, you know. So in a sense, being myself with skill, get myself with better people, you know. And I decided to take it, and it was 2 steps below, and it was also less paid, absolutely.
So that
But
would be my next question.
yes, but then I thought, honestly, I think I'm quite good. I was very convinced about myself. But so if I am, I'm sure I will have an opportunity to grow in this organization. And if I'm not, you know, then I will have to make other plans. Then maybe go and become an artist or whatever. I mean, even without talent, who knows? And I did, and you know, the reason why they hired me is because they had a challenge with one of the big global brands, with Maggi, that they were really losing market share, and they needed a little bit an outer perspective, because it's like that. And here we are into the buzzwords, into the buzz processes, into the established thing, because this is not possible. How many times have I heard, you know, no, politically, no, it's a strategic decision. Strategic decision, it's commercial decision, or it's politically not possible. That is standard. But this is when people hide behind something. And what I say is, let's stop hiding and let's say, look, I don't feel it. I don't feel it, and my experience doesn't. And that's why in my shoes, I don't want to go that way. I think that is honest, and I think people can take that. But people feel, and that is what I'm saying, people feel if you just telling them something just to get them out of your office, you know. So I got there. I got discharged, and I did really a bit crazy things. And you know, I was really blessed, because you see, they say be an entrepreneur, another buzzword. Huh? What did Miguel do? I went there. I went, let's do. And they said, no. We have not discussed. Magical word was then is alignment. We need to align. And I remember I was 9 months down in the organization, and I got an invitation to the CEO and the head of HR with my boss. And they said, Miguel, you don't fit in our culture. You are just doing these things, and you are just going your way. And you know, I mean, here we do that in a different way. And I had a fantastic boss, and it was a woman. I had an outstanding boss, and she was super sharp, and she was street smart, and she knew, because she had given me the leeway to go and do it. And I was not just doing it, I was aligning the organization below, but not talking to the big boys just to give me the Urbi and Orbi. Come on, I can walk myself. And she said, oh no, sorry, CEO, but that is completely my mistake, because I have not instructed him, and I missed that point. And that was completely aligned with me. And so I got away. And that was one of the things that I still admire her, for her guts of being real and of being standing up for something. But you see, that was another example of a situation where basically you say, be entrepreneurial, be fast, be agile, all these wonderful words. No one would say we are not. But then when it comes to execution, you know, you have to walk the talk. And as a leader, is your responsibility. You are doing it. And because if you don't do it, every single one, all the eyes are on you. And if you don't do it, no one will do it. Because everyone said, no. We say, but we don't do. We don't deliver. Yeah. So those are a few experiences. Then I was lucky to really achieve the turnaround. We had to really do a lot of things. And before I could take over as a member of the Nestlé Executive Board, the Swiss business in food. And that was another adventure, because we had a market share of 79% it was. And I can tell you, it was, you know, that the last 20%, they are impossible. They are hard. So, and that is another thing, you know, we were market leader. What is the role of the market leader? To be managing the risk, or to be creating new spaces? And I understood to be creating new spaces. So we started with all this natural. We just reworked all the formulations, all the ingredients list. We went all natural. We launched 100% natural product lines. I spoke with Bio Suisse, and we did a co-branding, and Nestlé never does the co-branding. Another part, I was 1 centimeter from being retrenched again because I did something which was outrageous, right?
You love the risk.
Now you see, that is an interesting part. I don't love the risk, but I see very clearly that in that space, and that's what we're talking about afterwards in Plantbased, trust is a very critical point. So I was thinking, what kind of trust do we have as Nestlé, even if we do things perfectly? What kind of trust do we have outside in the market? People are skeptical, for good or for bad reasons, but that's a fact. So if we really join forces, and this is the age of collaboration out there, if we join win-win partnerships with this brand, with the Bio Suisse, with Naturaplan, which was in Switzerland, the bio label, and we create a product that is co-branded from both, then basically we gain the trust from the consumers because they trust the other organization as well, and they love our brand. And I can tell you, we had a lot of discussions, and of course, I mean, my throat was on the line there. But today, it's the blueprint for all the markets to go about, and bio is on top of the agenda, organic. You see. So sometimes I think it's a bit harder to be a pioneer. It's harder to go down to your feelings and trust your guts because we have not learned that. But that is a part of being real. And I want to encourage everyone, go back to yourself, because the change is not outside. The change is inside you. And only if you start going deep enough and take that time, then you can start to observe certain things or feel certain things or realize certain things that in the hurry you don't. So those were a few of my experiences. And interestingly, again, I don't know why, but in my life, it's all about eggs. I changed the total factory to free-range eggs. And that is because as a leader, we needed to step into an overall sentiment that we need to do something actively for animal welfare, for the environment, for our carbon emissions, for our recycling packages. I mean, at least not to harm, okay? And so what is the step? And at that time, that is almost 10 years ago, that was really necessary to make that step. And it cost us really a lot of money. That means on the other side, we had to gain economies or efficiencies differently, or we have to not spend on trade marketing, on marketing agencies, on external people that we had hired before that did not really add value, not that much as the egg. So we started to work in a more conscious way. And that is what got me indirectly later, after being in food service globally, to this plant-based business.
But we will talk about it. We have a comment from the audience. So Mike is saying, as a top manager with many people to guide, responsibilities to manage, and all the exposure, how is it now as a founder, so as an entrepreneur, where I assume you don't have a team and also no name and no fame?
Well, I think it's not so fundamentally different, except that you're much more free and you are a real entrepreneur as opposed to the so-called entrepreneurs in the corporate world, which is, again, in itself a contradiction. You cannot be an entrepreneur if you don't handle your own money. It is a very fundamental difference. Hence, so I think what I really like about the founders is that they are people, they are doers. There are people, they go, they action, they move the market, they sell, they shake the tree, and they create something. And that is a very powerful force. Sometimes as well, what I would suggest there is by creating so much to the outside, you sometimes forget also the inside part. And you don't mean it, but are you consciously leading your team as well? It's the same discussion. Are you consciously really going inside yourself and finding this purpose that you can get people to embark into, or maybe almost ignite their own purpose and create something bigger. Are you really listening to the people, or because it's you, are you the patron, you decide, in maybe in good intention, but you totally overrun your people? And I think, are you creating this environment where people openly really speak, or are they somewhere also afraid of you as well? Because I think it's about the energy that you bring into a business. And I believe that if you bring the right environment and the right energy, the results will follow. And today, let's put it very simple. An entrepreneur, be that a business owner, a CEO, small or a big company, what you need to do, what people want and need today more than ever, is safety. We need safe spaces. We need spaces where we can breathe and where we can hopefully be ourselves. And as a leader, I create that space. So do the founders, do the business owners create that space deliberately? Because if you create that space, you will tap into the very best of your people. And you don't hire you don't hire smart people in order to tell them what you do, because otherwise you can hire kind of very normal people, because they will just follow your orders. So safety is important. Then do they really trust you? I believe that many of the founders have this trust of the people because they're personally there, while in corporations we are much more detached, and the CEO doesn't necessarily know how a machine operator in a factory is feeling. And for me, because of my roots, I always like to work and to talk to operators, to cleaning ladies. It was important to me, and I got another sense of the atmosphere and the feeling in there. So that was the second thing, and then also ask yourself, as a founder, but also as a CEO, do the people that work with you get better? Do they grow after they've been working, or are you just using them and just squeezing the drops? And again, I'm not pointing at anything. I'm just seeing that the new world is going to be very different. And unless we create these spaces, unless we create this trust and fellowship from our own people, how do we want the consumer to follow us if the people don't follow us? If the people don't believe in us, how can that be valid for the consumers? And do the people become better? Are we contributing to helping them to achieve something more, to become a better version of themselves? So those are the things that I would say. So for me, that is not very different, but the context is different. Maybe the political aspect is different. The complexity is much more direct, and the agility, of course, is different, that you need to speed. But today, the big corporations, I realize that they have a big disadvantage being not fast enough. And they are thinking about structures to create more this agile kind of little units to operate. Yeah.
But let's go back also a little bit to the new consumers and also to the new market. So you have a passion for plant-based food and sustainability. So you're really driven by that. And so especially this new category requires also a new way of marketing and an absolutely new way of supply chain. And as we have already said, we have new consumers. So we have a new consumer out there who wants to know, what do I consume? Where does it come from? Are the eggs from happy hens? Yeah. So we as consumers start questioning. And now if we go down to the companies who are involved into the processes, so on the B2B level, on the B2C level, and who are handling the marketing behind, what can a small business adapt as well from these big corporations like Nestlé? So what are the learnings there, so that we can approach the consumer the right way on the one hand, but also within our processes, within the supply and production chain? So what is the source, or the secret sauce for it?
The new consumers, you need to see that the new people that are now here, that are the new level of consumers, be that millennial, generation Y or Z, I think they are born in a completely different life and with different talents that are far beyond, inner intelligence, I think, and with with complete different souls, in my opinion, and they have a much larger perspective about the world. And we were also, I mean, our perspective was also liberal and idealistic, but you know, they are growing in an environment where they choose friends, they choose jobs, they choose lifestyles that pay into the value system. They want to enjoy, they want to be happy, they want to explore, but at the same time, they also want to take a certain responsibility. Now, if they do that or not, this is a different story, because often they fly the most all over the place and the CO2 emissions are according to that. But they have something, a drive which is different, because they are growing in an environment where they have everything. So it's not about, do I want the orange or the yellow jam? It's about which jam producer is doing. Well, what are they doing? And what transparency? Today we are also in the internet is all available, is transparent, so we can see how do they source and what do they do. So do they treat the people correctly? Do they treat the suppliers correctly? Do they treat the partners correctly? Are they true, or are they just saying something? And so unless you pay into this value system, they are not going to choose you. And you see that is what is fascinating about plant-based, because it's a similar concept, is the people who have chosen a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle, they have certain principles. In the US, for instance, there is a statistic which is, what are the main base for consumer choice in food? And for the conventional consumer, I think 56 or 58% choose based on taste. And for the vegan and vegetarian, 39% choose on animal welfare, and the second 31% chose on environmental considerations, and only then taste. So it means it's a shift. People, and I think that is to a certain extent also for millennials the case, they put other values in front that drives them. Huh? And they somehow have a different inner antenna that they sense whether you are real or not. They are so educated, and they have this instinct that says, nah, you're lying to me, you're not consistent. Huh? And let me share, because what can medium and small companies do? I think they really need to embrace a purpose. And I think they need to do three things. They need to know themselves with three questions, basically. You need to really ask, who am I? And you need to have a moment of silence. Ideally, I did it when I was meditating, to take this space. Who am I? And sometimes you don't get the answer, but keep on asking, keep on observing how you react. Who I am when I'm at my best. Who am I if I live my own potential? Because every leader, also business owner, that is the big question, first question that he needs to ask. And who are my people, my consumers, my employees? What are the needs, the wants, the expectations? You know, what are their lives? Am I talking to a person that is eager to preserve the tradition, that is relatively with small space is happy? Is someone that is more exploratory, adventure, that needs a bit more, he wants experience? Or is someone that is much more for status and image and outer perception? That changes completely. So knowing yourself, knowing your consumers, and then building your stories based on who you are. And don't try to say everything, because you are not everything. And in food, it's an awful thing. You know, we have so many things that you need to be. You need to be better fats, better oils, allergen free, gluten free, bio, fair trade, less calories, you name it. You cannot be everything. So and people notice if you want to be everything. So I think that is the thing that we need to apply when we manage teams. And I say that is the same for small producers like for big producers, because it ripples into your organization. It creates a space, and interestingly, you attract also the people that belong there, and you attract the business that belong there. So I really profoundly have made this experience in my life, And I've been in very successful turnaround situations and building the last business with 20% last year, 16% the previous year of growth. The business will come. Success is a consequence. If you focus too much on the money, you don't focus on the cause. And that is what is sometimes hard, because we have also our existential, in smaller companies even more, you have more existential needs, and you need to make the buck and you need to deliver. Huh? I do understand that. However, I think you asked me about before, sometimes you can run blindly, but I think what I am saying to people is stop for a moment, breathe deeply.
Your message and purpose, right?
Yes, and that is a new mindfulness, consciousness, where we have presence, and also in these moments, count your blessings. We are so blessed. Whatever, even if we are in a bad situation, we can be thankful about 2,000 million things. Let's be aware. Once you are conscious about it, you have a different position. Your mindset shifts all of a sudden, and you start to see things in a different perspective. So that is what I would say to that.
Give us an advice, right? That's great. So the time is really flying. Oh my God, we are nearly at an hour. So Miguel, I think also our audience would like to know.
Please, super.
You have started out now as an entrepreneur, so founded your own business. So a new chapter of your life. So taking under consideration all your learnings and all your experience. What are you the most excited about? So now being an entrepreneur.
I am super excited to be in contact with so many different people, I mean, before you have your own breed, your frame is very relatively small, I would say, but I'm talking to startups with very crazy ideas, but no clue about marketing, no clue about value propositions and why you need to structure it and why you need to build a hierarchy and why you need to have an ownable product story. And I try also to do quite a bit of pro bono work here, helping them to really get, because the new world is consciousness, but some of the old tools still apply. And I believe that at Nestlé we learn amazing tools. We really learn how to build brands, how to build value, how to connect, communicate. And I think that is something that I want to share with smaller companies, with entrepreneurs that are good at doing, but the strategic part of it, sometimes it's just a bit of lacking in this sense. I'm talking to the new food, to alternative protein. I'm talking to established companies, to food techies, to universities, to ingredients producers. And basically, at the end of the day, there are so many things that connect us, and there's so many things that we can help each other to step on. And I think, for me, again, what is most important is that we go from an outer world into an inner world. And I think really we are in times where this is needed, because that's where we will find the innovation ecosystems that we want to put into the markets. That's where we really can connect deeper, because ultimately, as humans, we are one, and we cannot go further the way we have been doing that. You see what's going on, and this is a big motivation for me with my own company, to make a contribution. And I always say one thing: every sparkle counts. Start small, but maybe start to meditate. I mean, I have made such good experiences. Do that for yourself, and my tip is get yourself a coach. Yes, it costs something, but you spend on new shoes, you spend on a new coat, even though you have 15 in your closet. Spend it on yourself. I mean, this is a journey. This is a game we are in, and we can live it in fear, or we can live it based on who we are. And yes, maybe there might be a bit more hardship going down the road, but it's also part of the game. We have chosen this.
Beautiful message. And how can people get in touch with you? I have put your email address in the hot news, so to say. And we have also a beautiful comment from Sven, who's saying, excellent interview. Share your thoughts and feelings. Muy gracias. Heads off to you, sir.
Thank you.
I
Thank
seem
you.
to know.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So Miguel, the hours really was flying by. I have 3 final questions, which I ask every guest in my show. So it's neither nor. So you can give an explanation or just choose one. Yeah. So marketing or branding?
Marketing.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Nespresso, ideally.
Of course.
What else?
What else? Boss or leader?
Leader, 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 leader.
Awesome, thank you. But I would really love to talk with you about the boss and leader thing. Maybe we can do another interview, because I think there could be a nice controversial discussion about this. And yeah, Miguel, thank you very, very much for your time.
One thing, if we do the interview, let's not stay at the word, at the buzzword, because we're talking about buzzword. So let's go real and let's really identify if there is really so much, or we just make it a bit out. Yeah?
That's true. That's for sure. Thanks so much. And I think you have inspired a lot of people out there. And so leave your comments, even if you are listening to this interview later. Leave your comments there, and yeah, connect with Miguel also here on LinkedIn, of course, and welcome to connect with me as well. And yeah, Miguel, thanks so much. It was really a pleasure, and all the best for your entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you, Lily, for your really smart questions. You were a fabulous host. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much. So Miguel, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
So guys, the hour flew by. I think you all had amazing breakthroughs maybe as well, and ideas. You have some ideas how to work on yourself. So start meditating, be real, figure out as a business and as a business owner, who are you? So what are your values? Who are you? And also be real. Yeah. So as a main message from Miguel, because yeah, this is really important, and we also see this as business owners as well. First of all, figure out who you are. Have the clear message. As soon as you have a clear message, it's also easier for yourself to go into the market and yeah, to attract the right employees, to attract the right customers, the right business partners. And yeah, guys, thanks so much. As mentioned, leave your comments below, and get connected with Miguel, get connected with me here on LinkedIn if you are not connected yet. And we will see each other back next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central European Time. And my guest next week will be an HR specialist from the US who has built it up the main casinos in the US. So stay tuned and see you soon.